it's Olivia, and welcome back to Live in Literature. Thank you so much for all the love and support I received in my last video, and if you have not seen it yet, feel free to head over to my channel to check it out. Well, guys, thank you so much for all the birthday wishes in last week's video. It was so sweet. I'm feeling very blessed, feeling very old, and feeling very excited about all the books we've got. Before we jump into today's video, which I am absolutely so excited for, welcome to spooky season, everyone. It is Halloween vibes over here. October is upon us. And that means all month long, I'm making an announcement right now, all month long I am going to be doing specifically like spooky monster October themed book recommendations. So every week for the next 4 weeks of the whole month of October, it's every Saturday is going to be a new release for a spooky, very like October-y themed book recommendation. So I hope you guys are excited because I'm super looking forward to this. And of course, the main event, which I'm so excited, drumroll please. We've reached over 800 subscribers on the channel.
I can't believe I did this. I can't believe I did this. I can't believe I did this.
I can't even believe it. I am so excited. Thank you guys so much for all your love and support, for supporting me and supporting this channel. This channel means the absolute most to me, and you guys are literally just the best, and I'm so grateful that you guys were able to get me here. To all the new subscribers who subscribed, welcome to Live in Literature, and thank you so much for being a part of this. As most of you know who are big, longtime subscribers of the channel, we are doing a book giveaway because we reached another 100 subscribers. So, for the 800 subscriber giveaway, in this video today, okay, you'll be checking the description down below. There will be a Google link. Please fill out the survey to win 2 books, a book boyfriend bookmark, and a book tote of your choosing. Okay? In the survey, it'll ask a bunch of questions just about like your name, your email address so I can email you when you've won, and the books that you want, or if you want me to pick the books for you, like, and I can pick them especially for you, and like we'll chat about it over email just to like see what you guys want. I love doing a giveaway for every 100 subscribers. We are doing this till we reach the grandmother of 1,000, where we'll be doing an even more special giveaway for a super, super special prize. And again, I just want to say a humongous thank you to all the people who have subscribed to me over the years, and for those of you who are stuck with me like through this channel and all the things, like you guys are just the best. I love you guys the most, and I'm just so grateful, so thank you so much.
I love you guys.
Now, on to the freaking video and why you're all here today. Let's talk about vampires. I'm so excited.
I've never been so happy in my entire life.
I've been teasing this video for a really long time, and I actually decided, because I have so many vampire book recommendations, I'm actually going to split this video into 2 parts. So this is going to be part 1 of vampire book recommendations. Because I have been doing so much vampire reading this year, I needed to separate it because I just have done so much. Like, this year has been the year of the vampire for me. I don't know what's come over me. Normally I'm all about the fae. Normally I'm all about like the woodland vibes. I'm more about like those kinds of things. But this year has been the year of the vampire for me, and I'm living for it. And nothing is more spooky season October vibes than vampires. I have been loving the vampire tropes. I've been loving the way that the vampires have been like rewritten into books these days. Like, I feel like it's just so much more interesting and powerful, and there's so much more depth to it than just like the Twilight vibes or anything like that. No offense to Twilight though, because like the movies are low-key kind of awesome, and I love rewatching every season.
Okay, now I see why you need the thunder.
But I have a slew of vampire novels to recommend for you guys today. Some of them are contemporary, some of them are more like cutesy, some of them are like more intense. You'll just have to pick and choose what you're feeling. There is one specifically in this group that I am so excited to talk about because it has officially blown my mind. But without further ado, let's just get into the vampire book recommendations. First one, listen, I'm sorry that this is on the list, okay? I'm sorry. You know her, you love her, you know that I'm obsessed with her. It's my 5-star read, Bride by Ali Hazelwood. Okay, guys.
Enough! I've heard just about enough of that. So you cut that out or you go to your damn room.
enough, all right? I know you're all sick of it. I know everyone's in the comments being like, stop talking about Bride, stop talking about Bride. All you do is talk about Bride by Ellie Hazelwood. Guys, this book altered my brain chemistry, okay? This is an arranged marriage trope between vampires and the werewolves. Misery Lark is a vampire bride to essentially form an alliance with these like alpha werewolves, and she ends up having to marry this alpha werewolf named Lo Moreland. And I love Lo. I love him so much. I'm obsessed with him. Misery ends up having to marry Lo to form an alliance between vampires and werewolves because they need to like have a little bit of a peace treaty. They both can't stand each other's races. It's like there's a lot of resentment. There's like very much like a mafia lord and like mob boss wife energy kind of like going on in this book. It's hot, it's sexy, it's like urban fantasy, so it's a contemporary novel, and I just ate it up. It's a fast read, it's a fun read, and nothing feels more like spooky Halloween vibes than sexy vampires and sexy werewolves. So get into this.
Bella! Where the hell have you been, Luca?
The next one that I want to recommend is a very dark, brooding take on Dracula, and it is A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. S.T. Gibson writes a lot of like those like gothic, moody books, and this one totally falls in line with that category. This is A Dowry of Blood. The book is absolutely fascinating. You start with the POV of a young woman on the brink of death. Her name is Constana, but you don't know what her name is because Dracula changes her name once he meets her. He names her Constana, and that's how she just goes on for the rest of her life and throughout all eternity. Dracula essentially turns her. She becomes the willing bride to Dracula, and she ends up living with him for like centuries of time. But as things go on, he grows tired and grows bored of her, and so he adds more people to this like little posse. He adds this like artist, he adds this like other woman. There are like people he's like slowly picking up one by one that he's bringing into this like lush circle of like vampires and stuff. This is a polyamorous romance. I have never read a polyamorous romance before. It's not something that I like am normally into. It was very interesting, and I actually ended up like enjoying the friendships and the love built between all the characters, because essentially like what ends up happening is Constana and this other little band group that Dracula has like essentially like taken, they become like they like join together to try to like take down the man who is essentially like their abuser, which is Dracula. But like it's so interesting because in the book she never gives him a name. Like she never names him Dracula, or she never calls him like by his name. He like is like this like hidden figure that you like never really get to see like the full depth of. And he's always hidden behind this wall, and it's really an interesting take on this like very like imposing, scary figure that is Dracula. The book was very beautifully written. It was very poetic. It's a quick read, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very fascinating, and I actually ended up enjoying the romance aspect. I didn't know if I was going to love it because I just have never like read anything with like a more polyamorous relationship type vibes. I ended up like thinking the book was really interesting and really cool. Give this one a go if you're wanting to read something that's very much more of the like medieval dark Dracula vibes than like some of the more like modern like vampire retellings. Very interesting, very moody, very gothic. I think I gave this one like 4 stars or 4.5 stars. It's extremely well written. I will read anything now that S.T. Gibbons writes because I know it's going to be full of heart, full of depth, a lot of amazing one-liners in this book as well, like amazing, brilliant quotes. Like the book is brilliant, and I absolutely loved it. Next is a little bit more of like a romantasy vampire vibes, okay? This is A Duel with the Vampire Lord by Elise Kova. Now, I talked about how I finished the Married to Magic series a couple videos ago with Elise Kova's Married to Magic. Each one of her books, she has like, there are 5 individual books, each of them in their own separate little universe, like within this like world that she's created, and they're called the Married to Magic series. This is book 3 in the Married to Magic series. You don't have to read any of the other ones to read one of these. They're each standalone novels, but I think you should read the series. Like I think it's great. I enjoyed each one of her books, even if the tropes get a little bit repetitive. It's like nice, easy reading, and I just really wanted that, and it was so hot and heavy with A Duel with the Vampire Lord. Essentially, there's a young woman named Floriane, and she is a what's it called? She's a forge maiden in the Hunter's Hamlet. So there's this little town at the bottom of the mountain called the Hunter's Hamlet, and she's the forge maiden. She forges like weapons and weapons and armor for the people who have to go out every like moon, like every time there's like a full moon, and fight the vampires, because the vampires come and attack her people. But one night she goes out as like a soldier, essentially to go fight the vampires to like protect her brother. She gets kidnapped by the vampire lord Ruvan, and instead of she thinks like he's going to kill her, but instead he just wants her. She becomes his blood sworn in basically trying to break this like thousands-year-old curse that's on the vampires, and that will hopefully save her people. But she's also like, can she trust Ruvan? Can she trust the vampires because they've been like after her people for so long? So essentially it's like almost like kidnapping / like arranged marriage low-key with like a blood sworn trope. There is sexy vampire man. There is gorgeous forge maiden woman. It is very much like the romantasy vibes. The story is very impactful, very like sweet. It is very much one of those like very like quick romantasies that you're like, oh my gosh, like I just need a quick fix of something fun to read that's just gonna like get me out of my reading slump. This is one of those books. Like A Duel with the Vampire Lord is a load of fun. It's really great. I think I gave it like 4 stars when I rated it on my Goodreads. And I just think it's great. I love Elise Kova's Married to Magic novels. I think they're fun, and I think they're a great, quick, easy read, and they're like fun to read. So I highly recommend this one. This one was really cute, really sweet. I love the relationship between Ruvan and Florian. Like, I thought it was very sweet, very palpable, the tension, the enemies to lovers. It's all there. Read this book if you want some of that. Next one is a book that I was so excited to read this year, and I'm so glad that I did. This is going to take us on a walk to like more of a historical side. We are doing The Vampires of El Norte by Isabel Canas. The Vampires of El Norte. Guys, this is an 1800s like Spanish style people living in a community, and there's like Anglo settlers that are encroaching on a settlement with these settlers, and essentially like there's this war going out between them, but then also the Anglo settlers have used a secret weapon, which is vampires. So vampires, I will say, like with the other 3 books that I've recommended today, those ones are all like a vampire is like in the book, or like it's like a lead character in the book. This one is more like vampires are a sub part of this book. This is mostly like a historical fiction with like a vampire element that comes into play. It is, I will say, a palpable and romantic second chance romance historical fiction. There's a second chance romance in here, which is to die for. I absolutely loved it. I thought the book was gritty. I thought it was raw. I thought it was real. I thought it was really like just like so fun to read, and such an interesting concept. And an interesting take on a period in the 1800s that I didn't know much about, and I really, really enjoyed it. Again, the vampire element is more of like a subsection in here. It's not like the main thing, but it is like a palpable part of this, and it comes up a lot, and there is dealings with the vampires, but they're just not like a lead character in this book. But I will highly recommend this book. I thought it was wonderfully well written, and I thought it was an incredible piece of literature to read this year. Extremely poignant. I absolutely loved it. Get your hands on this book. And last but certainly not least, the one that I've been most excited to talk about this video, another 5-star read for The Immortal Dark by Tigist Girma. I hope I'm pronouncing that name correctly. Tigist Girma. Oh my literal gosh. First of all, I have some things to say. This is one of the most well-written, intoxicating, dark, and I'm talking dark, gritty, disgusting, full of like blood and gore, like.
Mom, can you pick me up? I'm scared.
Vampire novels that I have ever read. Not only that, but also dark academia. This is one of the most brilliant dark academias I've also ever read. And not only that, it was just one of the most interesting takes on vampires that I have ever had the pleasure of reading about. Our lead main character is a young woman named Keaton Adane. She is essentially a human that is a part of this like famous bloodline of people who essentially like, to get power, they like have vampire companionship. So they like swear themselves to vampires, like they have their own vampire companionship and swear themselves to their vampires to essentially like gain power in this like secret arcane society that's like behind these walls of this like university. Her sister goes missing, and she thinks that the culprit is the vampire that is sworn to her parents' house, Cesenio Sagad. Cesenio Sagad is a dark, terrifying, absolutely like
I'm speechless.
Unbelievable vampire. Like, he just is absolutely terrifying, to be honest. This is also just as another like amazing take on the vampires. This is a Habesha and Ethiopian like representation for Black women. And the book, all of the vampires in this, and all the characters in this book are Black Ethiopian, part of the Habesha. And she has a great dedication in here to say, for my Habesha girls who dare to occupy new and wondrous spaces, hold your head up and let them see you. And also to say, for the Black girls who've always marveled at the dark beauty of vampires, the immortals look like us in this one. Which I absolutely love. I love that we're getting new representation for vampires. I love that we're taking a whole new take on this. This book had a lot to do with like historical bloodlines and like leading all back to like this underground society that was like all started amongst these tribes. And it just is honestly beautiful. The book is extremely dark and gritty. This is the one thing I was kind of confused. This book is technically rated in YA. First of all, it doesn't read like a YA whatsoever in any way, shape, or form, which honestly, like, I prefer YA books to not read like that. But second, it is extremely dark. There is trigger warnings in the book. Like, please read the trigger warnings. Like, there are quite a few. It's just like a lot. Like, I will say for a YA book, like, I was not expecting it to be like this much. And when I picked it up, I didn't think it was YA. I thought this was an adult book, and it read like an adult book, and the content of it was adult. And then when I found out that it's actually stocked in the YA section, I was kind of shocked. I digress. The book is amazing. So essentially, like, Keaton Adane is trying to, like, find her sister. She blames Sisenius, the god. Sisenius and her have to create, like, they have this, like, hardcore enemies to lovers. When I say hardcore, I mean that they are at each other's throats. Like, I'm talking like they are practically murdering each other every other moment that they get. They hate each other. They loathe each other because she thinks he killed her sister. And he's like, why the frick is this chick here right now? He's like, I freaking hate this chick. They both cannot stand each other. The book ended on like a crazy cliffhanger. It is grotesque. It is repulsive. It is gritty. It is raw.
This is wrong! Oh my God. This is wrong! It's just wrong!
If you are looking for a dark academia vampire book to make you just like reconsider everything in your life, it's almost like backwards. Like the way that Keaton speaks about her own life and like if it's worth even living and like how hard it is to keep living and stuff, it almost like just is like seeing her perspective on it almost makes you just appreciate your situation more. Like, it is just raw. This book is a open wound. Like, it is just a raw book. It is so well written. It is so dark and intoxicating. I just absolutely love it. And the romance aspect, oh, the enemies to lovers is just delicious. I'm obsessed. This book is so freaking good. Like, this is an amazing debut novel for Taija Skirma. This is an incredible debut. Like, this book seriously is so awesome. Cannot recommend it enough. I'm absolutely obsessed. Go check this one out. So that is all the books that I have to recommend for you guys today. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. And if you did, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the Living Literature YouTube channel. Again, guys, thank you so much for helping me reach 800 subscribers on the channel. Do not forget to click the link in the description if you want to enter the giveaway to win 2 books, a book boyfriend bookmark, and a book tote of your choosing. Thank you guys so much for all your love and support, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!